Welcome into Illini Drive. I'm your host, Josh Pietsch, and it's Tuesday, which means Carson Gourdie is joining me tonight. Carson, how you doing?
Doing good. Weather's nice. I wasn't really inside today at all because I've been busy making a package for the TV station. It's about the job market for journalists out of college, and it's very depressing.
It is very depressing, especially for us journalists. We don't have the best lead into a nice job from college, I'll say.
And I scheduled an interview with your favorite professor.
Gene McDonald?
Nope. Keep going.
Ben Holden.
Yes.
There we go. I didn't actually have Ben Holden. He subbed into my class, and he was a little harsh on us, so Carson says that somewhat sarcastically, but no, I'm sure he's a good guy.
He's a great professor. And
really smart. He lives in Georgia, right?
Yeah. I feel like the biggest thing with the journalist is that you have to be diverse. Like, you might not be the big-time sports reporter, but you still have the skills to be a communications guy, a lawyer, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing. It's based on Bussy, Alec Bussy. He's like the main guy, like
in your package.
Yeah, he's like the face of the story. Like, here's this kid, runs broadcast, knows Io DeSumo, writes articles, and it's like he's struggling to find work.
Well, Alec is like more favorable for a nice job later than most journalists at U of I because he started early. He was doing video at the DI. Now he works for Orange and Blue News. I think it's a paid position, which is really good for someone his age, in my opinion. Obviously, something
100%.
that we're going to be looking for. But even, like you said, with someone like him, it's still really tough.
Like, there's kids that don't do anything in journalism, extracurriculars. And, like, the fact is, grades don't really matter in journalism. It's like, if you don't have the experience, like, you will not find a job in the field.
Exactly. Like, I'll just put this out there. Like, last semester, for example, when I had the football beat, I was doing 3 or 4 stories a week, 5+ hours of Zooms, and that's like, 3, 4, 5 even hours of writing and transcribing interviews. I probably spent more time on my extracurricular journalism stuff for the DI than I did on my schoolwork, and I didn't get paid a dime for it.
Exactly.
For what? That's the
experience.
Question. Well, I know. I'm just hoping that one day it pays off. Imagine all that work, less time spending on school. I was lucky my grades ended up okay, but I hope there's something for me in a little bit.
I think if you truly will accept a position at the bottom and work your way up, you will make a living.
I feel like that's what everyone has to take the risk on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough depressing journalism talk. We're going to get into some Illini basketball because some pretty significant news today. Everyone kind of thought that the 2021 class might have been coming to an end for Brad Underwood and the team, with R.J. Melendez and Luke Goody being the first two. But another wing was added today. 4-star guard Brandon Podziemski. Did I say that right, Carson?
I don't know.
Podziemski. He's a 2021 recruit, so he's going to come in next year. He's long, athletic. I think he's about 6'5", 6'6", 6'5", 195. Shooting guard from Wisconsin. He was Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball, and he averaged about 35 points per game in high school, which is really good. 24/7 as a 3-star. ESPN has him as a 4-star around the 100 mark. There's nothing wrong with getting a pure scorer to your team. Carson, what do you think about this recruit signing?
I think it's really good. He was a late bloomer. I mean, not a lot of people knew about him. And then back in October, Kentucky and Kansas gave him offers. Mm-hmm. And then Brad Underwood, he got on his radar. It's just pretty amazing that, like, Wisconsin didn't even offer this kid a scholarship. I mean, Mr. Basketball of Wisconsin, like, got no love from Greg Gard. He shoots the 3 at 43%. It's something that Illinois desperately needs if you want to, replace production miss from Io. I know Trent's coming back, so we got a little 3-point help. But it's going to be interesting. But I want to see if he can compete athletically because, I don't know, I think he needs to gain some weight.
Yeah, we'll see. He has a grade of 81. He's a 4-star with ESPN. I'm pretty sure he is not in their top 100, but near the bottom, none of that really matters too much. Like you said, he was definitely a late bloomer, but you're right. The size is definitely something that we're going to keep a look at because he's 6'5", but he's not quite yet 200. Obviously, There are some pretty awesome strength coaches at Illinois to see what they can do with him, but overall, I really like it, especially, with Curbelo possibly being the front man with here. To surround him with shooters is super important. They're doing that with Goody. You have potentially Trenton DeMonte. We'll talk about Trenton a little bit. Grandison, and now adding Brandon Z. Well, that's what we'll call him, I guess, for now. Is really good, I think.
And I think Brad's found a pretty good formula of being able to develop talent. Like, I don't think Illinois will ever become, like, just a one and done factory, like our dream of getting these Chicago kids, like we wouldn't work with the Jabari Parkers of the world. I think it's awesome that Brad's able to like take a Kofi Coburn, who's like an overweight big man, and turn him into a stud. Take Ayo Dosunmu, the skinny Chicago kid, into one of the most clutch players in the country.
Yeah, no, he's done definitely a good job with that, and hopefully Brandon's his next project. Obviously, this guy's not going to be a one and done, barring a phenomenal freshman year, which would probably make Illinois like a 1 seed or something like that. But especially with losing Miller, I think this is really important because I'm still in the group that thinks Miller's definitely not coming back. I know that there's speculation about him wanting to and, not finding a great option out there. I don't think Miller is coming back. So that being said, getting Brandon, another lefty, a little bit taller, maybe a little bit skinnier, possibly.
What I love,
still think it's good.
What I know I bring this movie up a lot, but one aspect of Moneyball is what are you replacing? Like when he lost Jason Giambi and 3 other players, he needed to replace 9 base percentage with 364 by average. And we're losing Adam Miller. Like we think about the potential of Adam Miller, but look what this team did with how Adam Miller performed. 7 points a game, and we still got a 1 seed. Like we don't need a 20-point game scored to replace Adam Miller. Like if Brandon can come in, average 8 points a game, like we're gonna pick up right where we left off.
Yeah, no, exactly. And just the fact that obviously Kansas and Kentucky, he probably wouldn't have gotten the playing time from, but just his other offers that he got, I'm going to read them off real quick.
Wake Forest is one, right?
Arizona State, Boise State, DePaul, Kansas, Kansas State, Illinois, Kentucky, Marquette, Miami, Nebraska, Rice, Vanderbilt, and Wake Forest. I'm pretty sure his final 5 came down to Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, Miami, Illinois, and Kentucky. Those are some big name schools that he chose Illinois over.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, they got Stackhouse who can recruit pretty well. That could have been
North
tempting.
Carolina guy.
Wake Forest is just sleeping giant. Miami, great coach with the old George Mason coach. But in the end, Illinois is by far for him the best fit because it is a winning program with a track record. Like Wake Forest is not a winning program. Vanderbilt isn't. And he's going to be able to compete right away. If you go to Kentucky, he's not going to be a 4-year starter at Kentucky. I would love to know the last 4-year starter at Kentucky.
Never.
Ever. Like, seriously. Like, it wouldn't make any sense for him to go there.
Not in the last 10 years. There's been no one.
Exactly. Under Calipari, I can't think of a 4-year starter.
Even at Duke, did Grayson Allen start all 4 years? I doubt it.
He didn't start his freshman year. But yeah, okay, that's a close one. I'll give him that. But, Kentucky, no chance.
No chance. No. Even, Kansas might actually.
Kansas could.
Azubuike probably started 3 years.
He could work at Kansas. But Kentucky, I think he's pretty close with, he's buddies with Tyler Hero.
Yes.
Wisconsin native as well, and I heard that had something to do with him not even considering the Wisconsin Badgers or getting an offer.
How so? Explain a little bit.
Well, Hero, was a Wisconsin kid that was supposed to go to Wisconsin, going to be like the saving grace, and then catch-22, he dips and goes to Kentucky under Calipari, and I think there's still beef between the two programs, and it just never worked out. I would love to talk to Greg Gard about why you let a kid that scores 35 points a game, shoots 43%, just slip down.
Go unoffered. They didn't even offer him.
You're going to Brad. You really want Brad to get a hold of him? I don't know. Greg Gard's taking a chance right there.
I was thinking about this earlier. I think it's pretty easy. If Miller doesn't enter the transfer portal, this kid probably doesn't come, right?
I don't think so. I think he's coming regardless.
Really?
We've been hearing about this kid.
Well, he did say in his, I don't know if you watched his video. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No problem.
In his video, he said, but I've really known where I've wanted to go all along. I think he's had his eye on Brad in Illinois for years now.
Well, we heard, there's been reports since December, hey, Illinois is looking at this kid. And Illinois has been the favorite for a while. I just think it just took a while to develop. I honestly think, I think Illinois is a no-brainer for him. I don't think it's that, big of a deal. I think he was always going to come. And I'll take him.
It feels real. Obviously, it's another freshman with less experience, but it does feel really good to get that immediate replacement in for Miller because I think it's a pretty good comparison.
I do too. And if Trent's going to come back, DeMonte's going to come back, I think this team is shaping up to be a very respectable Big Ten contender with keeping Kofi.
Before we get to Kofi, obviously the other big news that it was weird because Trent put out this tweet saying he was hiring an agent and going to the 2021 NBA draft. Then he reforms the tweet and says he hired an NCAA-approved agent while maintaining his eligibility.
Yep.
Not even a week later, his father goes on, I think the Ryan Evans podcast is that it, and says that Trent is coming back, but Trent has not said anything yet, and it wasn't even a week after he declared. So we don't know for sure, but
what's the rush for him? I mean, in all seriousness, he is a senior. He wants to test his options. He's going to come back, I think, because I don't think he really has the size for the NBA. I don't think he's a consistent enough shooter from behind the arc. I mean, it's really a no-brainer. Come back to Illinois, get your degree, compete for a Big Ten championship.
I think that's what he's going to do. As an Illinois fan, I really hope that's what he's going to do. Obviously, his defense is needed. His leadership is always nice. I know Trent loves the campus and loves everything here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice. Him and DeMonte, for them both to come back would be pretty key.
And what about that 3-star we got, AJ Storr? You hear about him?
That's for 2022, right?
That's for 2022.
He's
but
another riser.
He might reclassify. I was talking to my buddy who follows Illinois basketball pretty well. He's just overshadowed. He was on a really, really good AU team. He's on the same team with Ty, I'm pretty sure. And it just, he's a guy that's really going to blossom. That's what people are saying.
There was another guy in the 2022 class that's similar to that, right? That Brad seems to fall in love with, like their type. What's his name? He committed like 3 months ago, maybe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know you're talking. I'm blanking though.
Yeah, I'm blanking too. That's all right though. So you have most likely Trent, possibly DeMonte, for sure Brandon. If Kofi comes back, I think you also have Omar Payne. This team could be really good again.
I know. I remember before Sister Jean was the Antichrist and ruined our season, we were saying, like, okay, even with Io gone, if everybody comes back, we're preseason top 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, top 3.
And now people really aren't saying that anymore because are they just assuming Kofi's gone? Is the lust around Illinois gone? But seriously, like, we've seen this team compete without Io DeSumo. They went up to Ann Arbor, won by 23 points. They handled the Wisconsin Badgers. So, I mean, like, this is shaping up to be a pretty good team if we can replace 7 points a game from Adam Miller. Because right now, Adam Miller is just thought. It's like a stock, It's not actually what we have.
I hope this isn't the case, but it almost looks like we're turning into a Fran McCaffrey strategy. Good guard, good big guy,
and no Sweet
surround
16s.
him with shooters.
Yeah, and can we count on a second round appearance next year? I mean, a third round, like Sweet 16.
No, you couldn't this year.
I know we couldn't even this year. That's why I hate about college basketball.
It's so unpredictable.
It's not even that. It's just like you want to enjoy the whole season, but like, okay, if you think of this team this year, do you think about, wow, this was the best team since 2005, or do you think like, yeah, we kind of choked against Loyola?
If they beat Loyola, then lost to, say, Cade Cunningham, I know Cade Cunningham didn't get there, but if they would have lost to Cade and Oklahoma State in the Sweet 16, everyone would be like, yeah, they were the number 2 team in the final AP rankings. They had a great year and lost a close Sweet 16
to
game.
The number 1 pick.
Exactly. But instead, you lose to another team in your state that shouldn't have been an 8 seed, but they were an 8 seed. Then Sister Jean and her curse. Like,
what do you think about Moser taking Oklahoma?
I think that he probably wanted to get out of the area, which is why maybe Indiana wasn't looking at him. I don't know. I thought Indiana should have wrote him a blank check. It's kind of a weird fit for me, but it seems like a good fit for him specifically.
I go back and forth. It goes both ways. I think Oklahoma got a steal.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a great X's and O coach. But the guy's from Naperville. The guy's a diehard Chicago Sox fan. I mean, a Chicago Cubs fan. I mean, it's just weird. Like, this Midwest guy is just moving to, Oklahoma.
But at the same time, what if he has success at Oklahoma, which I think he will?
He's never leaving. This guy is so low key. Do you think he wants like a Florida job? Not Florida job. Do you think he wants a UCLA job, a Kentucky job? I think he's going to retire at Oklahoma. And it's a pretty good program. I mean, like Lon Kruger has got him in like 6 out of the last 7 NCAA
Former Illinois coach Lon Kruger.
Yeah, I like Lon. He's kind of just you know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
just pretty boring.
With
good.
Porter.
And guess who Loyola hired to replace him?
Their assistant,
who was Denzel Valentine's brother.
Right.
Yeah. So it's gonna be usually promoting the coach after the young assistant after the most successful run ever. Usually doesn't work out.
North Carolina's kind of doing the same thing.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, I don't like Rory Williams, but
we'll see.
Yeah, Porter at Oklahoma, kind of weird. I wonder why he went to Oklahoma. It's like a low-key Power 5 job. It's right up his alley. If you
And it's
think about
awesome
it.
because everybody's going to be focused on Spencer Rattler and the football program. And he's just going to quietly win 20, 21 games a year.
I'm not sure about the natural recruiting base in Oklahoma, but they seem to get guys. So
They got Buddy Hield. I think it's more of a development program. Like, honestly, like, other than Blake Griffin, name me the best Oklahoma player off the top of your head.
Trae Young was pretty good.
Crap, I forgot about Trae Young. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
All right, so it seems like they usually get 1 star. But, like,
Sometimes that's all you need.
is Porter a proven recruiter on the national
No, but
level?
he's a proven defensive genius. I will say genius. I will get to that. Or I think it gets to that level. And if he adds 1 star to that, Oklahoma's not a one-and-done program, typically. Even if he gets a star and they stay for 2 years, I could see Porter getting a few Sweet 16 Elite Eights in the next 5-10 years.
This Big 12 conference is insane.
Yeah, I know, dude.
You got
Baylor,
Chris
Kansas,
Beard.
Texas
Yep.
Tech.
Chris Beard's going to get it rolling down in Texas.
Yep.
The biggest sleeping giant in college basketball history. You got one of the best coaches in the conference in the country with Scott Drew.
Yep.
Kansas is Kansas.
Bill Self, lifetime guy.
Yeah, it just, there's really not like a terrible program. Even TCU has a great coach.
They do.
With the former Pitt guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of his name right now. But best conference in basketball.
Bruce Weber will get a good team with Kansas State. Iowa State was terrible, but they're usually good.
Dude, they're usually good. When Hoiberg left there, that program was rolling. And then he ditches them for the Chicago Bulls, and they haven't been the same.
Dude, Hoiberg's such a weirdo.
If I was Hoiberg, I would have taken the Iowa State job again.
Would they have wanted him?
I don't know. He went there, and he's the best coach they've ever had. You think in Nebraska? You think he's ever going to compete at Nebraska? No. There's no. It just
he was down pretty bad after the Bulls. I don't know. I didn't want him to get fired from the Bulls personally, but whatever.
I think the Bulls hiring Boylan was the most uninspiring hire in NBA history.
Well, they just promoted him from assistant.
Exactly. Let's fire Hoiberg because he stinks, and let's promote his assistant, who's alongside the entire time.
All right, we got to get back to Illinois basketball here. So just before we head to break, well, first off, I know that you've said it before, you still think Kofi's coming back?
Yeah, gut feeling right now is he's coming back. He's going to declare, because why wouldn't you test your options?
Of course.
But I think in the end, Kofi Coburn will be wearing the orange and blue come November.
So if you have a starting lineup, Curbelo on the bench, holy moly.
Curbelo will be a starter.
Okay, Curbelo, Trent Frazier.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Austin at the 4, Kofi at the 5, and then whoever one of those freshmen
Not DeMonte. You think DeMonte will be on the bench?
Oh, maybe DeMonte.
I think DeMonte might get a starting role back.
Who's scoring then?
Kofi. Get that
Kofi,
guy 25 points a game.
If DeMonte stays, Trent stays, Kofi comes back, they're going to be deep again, which is really good.
I think Trent's going to have to regain some freshman confidence. That's what I think. And
I think he's just going to ball. I think he's not going to care, and he's going to
exactly. You don't have. He was under DeSumu's shadow. I mean, he got it swiped underneath him the way DeSumo just was able to skyrocket this program.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about Diva Adam Miller. DeMonte's going to take his shots when he's comfortable. He's going to be huge. And then Curbelo showed some skill last year with the ball, being able to score. If Curbelo gets any sort of a jump shot, oh my God.
Curbelo fouls too much, but yeah. He's got to get less sloppy and get a jump shot. And if he does, he'll be lethal.
I'm going to miss Georgie. Unpopular opinion.
I'm going to miss him too. What are you talking
Offensively, about? He was good. He knew how to score. He was smooth underneath. His defense was terrible, but...
If you combine his offense with Omar Payne's defense...
Yeah, we'd be in the Elite Eight.
Well, maybe. You don't win the Big Ten championship game without Georgie.
And you don't compete against Baylor in the first half without Georgie either.
We're going to miss him.
Yeah, I know.
Georgie.
And at first I was like, you are an idiot. I legit screamed, what is he thinking? He's throwing away his college degree. He misses his family. That's what it is.
So I was with people at a certain location a few weeks ago on country night, and
just say it.
He told a couple at Cam's, and he told a couple people. I think. Well, he kind of told people. My point is before, 2 or 3 weeks before the announcement that he was leaving, and he waited and he announced it, and he did not say he's coming back. He said he's declaring for the draft and dreamed of going professional. So we all know he's going to Europe. Hopefully, he gets a little bit of NBA training or something like that. But it makes sense to me. I mean, I don't think he has anything left to prove yet at Illinois. He probably doesn't think he's going to win a national championship, which is somewhat fair. He misses his family, and he can go make $100,000 in Europe.
And he can finish his degree whenever if he really wants to.
I don't think he wants to, but sure.
Yeah. If he want, that's the beauty of college athletics. They kind of give these athletes just a chance to complete it whenever. Considering how much money they make for these respective universities and increase their admissions, it's pretty fair.
Last thing, do you think that Brad's going to start looking out for the parents of who he recruits? Alan Griffin and Adam Miller. That's 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, Miller. Adam. Yeah, I think it's important because if you got a mom that's just has the kid's ear locked in, I mean, it causes problems. I mean, I heard they weren't on speaking terms at the end.
Miller and
the parents, the mom would get just so upset about why, the tickets. Why isn't Adam starting more? I mean, getting more minutes. Yeah. It just there's always you can't satisfy her. And yeah, honestly, I would worry about it too.
Maybe the parental unit has more of a factor than we think for the future. I don't know.
Yeah, but
hopefully.
Last thing about Adam Miller, where's the grass greener, buddy? You gonna be the alpha male at Kentucky? No. These schools that he's interested in. I mean, Illinois is definitely the best place for him to develop as an NBA talent.
I agree. Brendan Jones definitely doesn't think so. Some other people think he's making the right choice. Most seem to think it's coming out of left field, which it is. It's all right. You got Brandon Z. You got Brad. You got Andre Curbelo, and hopefully you have Kofi. That'll make for a good 2021, 22.
God bless Brad Underwood.
God bless. All right, going to take a quick break here. When we get back, we have some Chicago baseball talk. That is next on Illini Drive. Welcome back into Illini Drive. It's Josh and Carson here, Tuesday night. So we're going to talk a little bit of Chicago baseball. Carson, I'll let you go first about the Sox. I'll say now I'm going to go on a pretty long rant about my Cubbies, but your Sox are starting to pick it up. Both teams, I believe, are below 500, so what do you got?
We actually just got back to 500, so we're going to try to get over 500 for the first time this year. Giolito on the sticks. What's
against Bieber, right? It's going to be a good one tonight.
It's a pick 'em. It's even right now in Vegas, so it's going to be a great game. 7 o'clock. So the Chicago White Sox are not fundamental. They leave a ton of guys on base.
Yes, that is true. It's kind of a problem, actually.
For the first time, I watched Lewis's press conference, and it seemed like he was very old. It did not seem like he's up to par for this.
Does it give you Joe Biden vibes?
I was thinking I didn't want to say it, but it was just. I'm not saying it can't be effective, but he looked worn down and tired.
Yeah,
and. Baseball's 162 games. He's traveling around, has to wear a mask, COVID, whatever. I'm not sure anymore that he's the slam dunk hire that I thought it was at the beginning.
So maybe Reinsdorf screwed up?
I think Reinsdorf let his heart get ahead of his head because, you got a guy a couple states away in Detroit that would easily be able to keep up with the team. Lewison is really good at I think he's really good at reviews, challenging things. I think he's a great manager. I don't know. He hasn't coached in 10 seasons. 2011 with Pujols was his final season. And then he worked executive positions for the MLB. And then with our relief pitching, oh my God, every game they're giving up late runs.
Last night they did not.
Last night they were chilling. But against the Royals 2 days ago, Adam Eden saved us for a little bit. And then first pitch from Hendricks, home run by the Royals. So they got the starting pitching. They got the talent with the lineup. On all seriousness, I don't think I can fairly judge this team until Tim Anderson is back. Because right now he's out for a little bit. But right now it's more just damage control with the Chicago White Sox. They just can't go on that bad 7-game slide that just tanks the team. Just stay around 500 for a little bit.
I agree with that. I've said it, I think, a couple of weeks in a row now. My big thing last week was that the defense just isn't very good, and you don't walk enough, and nothing's changed.
Yeah, Abreu doesn't walk. He likes swinging the ball. Anderson, when he plays, it's the same thing. Mercedes is doing a pretty good job of keeping an eye on the ball, but is he really a proven track? Like, he does not have a proven track record. Like, he's batting .500 right now. You think he's going to keep that up? Like, he's had 20 at-bats his entire MLB career. So it's serious. I love walks because you drain a pitcher. You know, you get to see more looks. And right now they're just not doing that. But they're 500. You know, you got Giolito pitching today. Let's just win today and worry about the Red Sox in the next series.
David Kaplan always says it about the Cubs, NBC Sports. Find a way to win a baseball game.
It was really weird listening to Glenn Casper call the Sox game yesterday, by the way.
Because Benetti was doing some...
ESPN obligation.
Yeah, I think he was doing the Warriors game last night for Curry becoming the all-time leading scorer.
Was he really?
I think he was, yes.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. But do you think Casper truly likes the White Sox? You know what I mean? Like, he's a Cubs guy. Like, I heard him call, like, a home run shot. I'm like, oh, did Anthony Rizzo hit something? It makes no sense why he's, like, with the White Sox.
So he went over to the White Sox to be the radio play-by-play guy because that's his dream. His dream has always been to be radio, and the Cubs have Pat Hughes, who's probably the best radio guy in the major leagues, if we're being honest. So for that reason, he went to the Sox, and then obviously he's open to do play-by-play on TV. He would do. Let me think about this. What was I going to say? He would do radio at least partly with Pat Hughes when the Cubs were on national television. If they got like
on ESPN,
a Fox Sports or an NBC game, so he would go and do it with them because radio's always been his dream. That being said, I don't know if you know this about me. The reason I'm in journalism is because of Len Casper.
Why? Why is that?
I wanted to be the reason I am in journalism now is because junior year, I loved the way Len broadcasted and did play-by-play for the Cubs so much that I wanted to like dip my feet in the water. So I did football and basketball junior and senior year, and it's all because of Len Casper. I couldn't do baseball because we didn't have it. But that's the reason. So when he left the Cubs, I was very, very upset. He was my favorite Cub. Like, screw all the players. I loved Len Casper.
Well, it's because it's like how White Sox fans feel about Hawk Harrelson. Like, Hawk Harrelson was a homer, super annoying, repeated the same phrases.
See, but Len's not annoying.
No, I'm just saying the point is it's the nostalgia that you get from it.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
think, I'm 11 years old with my dad. Like, who am I hearing? I mean, he's part of your family. He's in your living room every night.
I've known him since I started watching baseball.
Anthony Pasquale used to, like, chill with the guy. You know that, right?
The Schmack guy.
Schmack. Yeah, no, he would like go to Cubs games with Len Casper. Somehow he squeezed his way, getting to know him.
Yeah, well, Len's an amazing guy. You know his son Leo?
No, I don't.
Sophomore here.
He goes here?
He does.
What's his major?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't think he's journalism. I think
he's not journalism.
We'd hear about that.
It was the night before I left. Like, we moved into college freshman year, so it was a Wednesday night. And Len was doing, once a year, the play-by-play guy at Wrigley does the seventh inning stretch, and he did it. And right before he started singing, he said, "This goes out to all the freshmen moving in at the University of Illinois tomorrow." And then I looked it up. I was just like, there's something about this. And turns out Leo Casper goes here.
God, that's so cool.
It is.
What a job, by the way. Can you think of a better job than just traveling with a baseball team and calling their games?
Well, that's my dream job. I've always told, like, my unrealistic dream job is play-by-play for the Chicago Cubs. On TV.
Why don't you do Big Ten Student U and that kind of stuff?
Didn't have time. All right. White Sox, yeah, you guys are
Lance Lynn's the guy.
Pitching's good. Start to walk. Play better defense. You're going to win the division. Let's move over to what Tom Ricketts thought was a title contending team. Let me read you, Carson, the batting averages of the Chicago Cubs currently.
They sucked last year, too. Are you surprised?
At the end of the year. Let me read you these tip-top title competing averages. After Jake Marisnick, who's batting .300 but only has 10 at-bats. Chris Bryant, .265. Javier Baez, .243. That's whatever. Wilson Contreras, .214. Jason Hayward, .152. Ian Happ, .143. Eric Sogard, .133. Jock Peterson, .129. Matt Duffy, .125. Anthony Rizzo, .118. And David Bodie, .087. Are you kidding me?
Do you remember when we used to hype up Jock Peterson?
Are you kidding me? 164 team combined batting average out of Contreras, Rizzo, Baez, Hayward, Bryant, Jock Peterson. Are you kidding me?
Not that bad. No, but in all seriousness, the Cubs don't need all 300 hitters to compete. Who on the World Series team batted .300? It's good pitching and timely hitting.
Okay.
So they got to improve a little, but dude, the law of averages is not going to allow them to be this bad for this long.
Their on-base percentage as a team is 264.
Considering that their average is 164, that's pretty decent.
So they still walk a little bit.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. 264 should be at least their team batting average.
You know math, right? I know we're journalism guys, but you know math.
I do know math.
Name me the lowest team batting average in the history of team baseball. Probably. It's probably what?
I think it's like 150.
As a team?
No. I think it's like
probably like 230.
No, not 230.
You think 220?
No, I'm going to go 210, 213.
No. Okay. In the past 20 years, I bet the lowest batting average is probably 230. Okay. They're batting 164. And they're still.
I don't care.
And
this is against AAA pitching in the Pirates and the Brewers, who are supposed to be middle of the division.
They're still dude, they're going to skyrocket. It's going to go from 164 to at least 230. They still got Arrieta. They still got some pitchers. They still got the name recognition. Rizzo's going to be able to pop off the ball. Chris Bryant, 265 is not that bad, and he's getting on base at 375.
Sure. Let me read you our pitching stats. This one's not as bad.
No, it's not.
Arrieta, 2 wins, no losses, 220.
The only thing that matters is the ERA.
I love you, buddy. Thank God you're back. Adbert Alzolay, 6.10 ERA. Had a great start. Got blown up in Milwaukee after that. Trevor Williams, 6.75 ERA. After a great start, blew up in Pittsburgh. Hendricks, 3 ERA. You know what you're going to get out of him. Yep. Zach Davies, after a great first start, 11 ERA. There's your starting pitching. Hey,
Kimbrel.
Craig Kimbrel is awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get traded. They're going to get rid of him, get some prospects.
Yeah, the Cubs are in a weird place. Like, what are you trying to do? You just trying to win 81 games and just be stuck in purgatory?
Well, I guess that gets to my point that I initially said about Tom Ricketts. Tom Ricketts, man, thank you for coming in. Thank you for giving us Theo. Thank you for the One World Series. You are not a good owner by any means.
What do you mean?
Just making Ricketts land around Wrigley is not going to make this team great. So what? You get sales. What about the fans that actually care about the team and don't care about going to Wrigley and getting drunk and staying at a hotel?
I think you're getting greedy. These were the lovable losers.
I don't care.
For 100 years.
But we're not.
You get one World Series, now you expect to be the Yankees.
No, I don't. But the Cubs are not making a professional effort to be good. This is mediocre at best.
Okay.
This is not a real effort.
You gotta. Okay.
They stink, Carson. They're terrible.
But dude, they made the playoffs every year besides 1 year from 2015 to 2020.
I don't care.
You don't care?
Should have been better than that. With the pitching you had and the hitting?
How many back-to-back titles are there? I mean, teams don't win multiple World Series. I mean, the Red Sox are probably the best franchise since 2004, and they've won they've never won within 4 years. It's just hard in baseball. There's not back-to-back chance.
They should still be more competitive.
They should be, I don't know. I think a playoff spot last year is competitive. Then now you can have an argument that they choke in the playoffs, but they get there. I mean, dude, if they suck this year, this would be their first losing season since 2014.
Good.
You were in 8th grade.
Blow up the whole
thing.
They
should. Okay, you can make that argument. But are you afraid they're going to be like the next Detroit Tigers?
No.
You should be. Because the Tigers were a team that hovered around the playoffs. And then Miguel Cabrera gets old, kind of like Rizzo, and their production goes down. They trade all their stars. Now they're stuck in hell for the next 10 years.
I'm disappointed.
The Cubs, that's the thing, though. The Cubs got the brand. They got the name recognition. They can sign good free agents. Do they really have to rebuild through their farm system?
You want to know how many guys have a positive WAR right now?
Probably not a lot.
Baez 0.3, Contreras 0.2, Bryant 0.2, Hayward 0.1, Eric Sogard -1, Anthony Rizzo -1, Jock Peterson. Oh, here's a good one, -0.4.
What's your thoughts on Ross?
He's not the problem.
You don't think so? Nope. You just think the talent's the problem?
Maybe.
If it's not the coaching, it's the talent.
The hitting coaches suck. We can't get a good hitting coach to save our lives.
But this has been a recurring problem. I mean, didn't Brian bat 200 last year in 60 games?
Last year is when this started. Yeah.
And even the year before, I mean, they kind of struggled down the stretch. Madden's final year was not going well.
It was all right until the very end. I remember I left for college. They had a 4-game lead, and then everything blew up at the end of the season for some reason.
So who's the best team in the NL Central?
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Brewers?
No.
You're sleeping on the Brewers, man.
Woodruff is awesome. He's going against Hendricks tonight. Cubs are going to get whooped. No hits. We're going to get a no hit tonight. I'll predict that.
Cincinnati's 7-3.
They are.
They're a dark horse. I remember the Illinois broadcaster Scott Beatty was talking about how they could be a serious contender.
They could. Castellanos is amazing.
And you know what you're going to get with Votto.
Yep.
Not a lot of power, but gets a bunch of walks.
Mm-hmm. Walks, man.
That guy should have more than 20 home runs a year. Sickening.
Who do they still have Luis Castillo on the bump? Obviously, no more Bauer, but I think their starting pitching still decent.
Is Bauer screwed? Sheesh.
I mean, he only signed a 1-year deal, so maybe the Dodgers and him will luck out.
Yeah,
I don't know about Bauer.
He does not have a track record, that long of a track record, and just his pure raw talent.
Is any pitcher worth $300 million to start 1 out of every 5 days?
Cy Young. That's the thing. Pitching back then, like, Cy Young went 530 and 300. Like, those guys were pitching every other freaking day. I mean, they're so soft now. With the way people can recover the knowledge we know about medicine, like, you should be able to pitch every 4 days.
Hey, I mean, I'm not going to call him weak because Patrick Catazone and I will go outside and play catch, and the next day my arm will be.
Well, dude, you're not a professional that's warmed up the entire year.
Yeah, right. I mean, but still, I'm not going to call him weak.
I'm just saying, like, baseball in the 70s, they all pitched their rotations were 4, not 5.
Hey, look at the Indians in the playoffs. Most teams go to 4. In 2016, they went to 3. Kluber, Tomlin, and Bauer, and they coulda, woulda, shoulda.
The reason why you can do that in the playoffs is because there's just days off for travel. Because in baseball,
still,
it's just an extra day. That's why it's able to be 4. Pitching, I don't know. It drives me nuts that it seems like every pitcher has 90 pitches within the first 5 innings.
No, I don't know about that.
Like, they're not finished. Like, you know how much relief pitchers get used so much more than they used to.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
Well,
and then when you got the Sox where you're supposed to have a good bullpen, and then it's just not.
To conclude our baseball talk, Sox are going to be fine. The Cubs are garbage.
Maybe.
The Cubs are garbage. That's all I really care about. Have fun with your Sox. I really don't care, if I'm being honest. Like, you guys can win, you guys can lose. I'm not going to care. I'll follow it, but
I'm rooting against the Cubs.
I know you do. You've said it before. You'll say it again. We're going to take a break here. When we get back, we're going to talk about the QB battle that's going on in Champaign right now. That is next on Illini Drive. Welcome back into Illini Drive. Got about 15 minutes left here. Spring ball is going on. Illinois football. Brett Bielema in his first spring with his new team, or I guess not new team, but his new program in Illinois. And one of the decisions that him and Tony Peterson, the offensive coordinator, and then the rest of the staff that they're going to have to make is you have 2 quarterbacks with starting experience on your roster in Brandon Peters and Isaiah Williams, who bring pretty different, assets to the field. So that's kind of the big news right now. You got a quarterback battle going on. They're going to get to compete for the first time this coming Monday, April 19th in the spring game. But Carson, for now, I mean, what have you seen out of these guys? Do you like one more than the other? Do you have an opinion on where you think Peterson and Bielema are going to go? Give me some thoughts.
So before last season, I used to hype up Peters. I was like, hey, look at his legs against Iowa last season. Look at his throwing ability against Michigan State. And the guy took just a huge drop off last year. I mean, he was awful.
COVID.
I know, but dude, come on. Did he have COVID against Wisconsin?
No, but the Wisconsin was good.
Wisconsin went like 5-4.
I know.
He stinks. Like, he's horrible. Like, yeah.
Okay, hold on a minute.
He's horrible.
Peters is not horrible.
He's horrible.
No, he's not.
That's
disrespectful.
No, dude. He throws, like, dude, you know how many games he's had where he can't even break 100 yards? Northwestern makes him look like a JV quarterback.
Okay, Northwestern, yeah. Pat Fitzgerald hates Illinois, though.
I mean, the thing with Isaiah is that he can at least make something out of nothing. See what he did against Rutgers. I mean, he wasn't throwing the ball, but he still ran for 200 yards. If Brandon Peters doesn't have his running backs gashing the defense, and you have to keep him honest, he crumbles.
He played really well against Nebraska, and he had a good first quarter and a half against Iowa.
Nebraska was the best game under the Lovie Smith program. It was the most well-balanced offensive attack. The defense was flying around. That's an outlier. And then you see him the next week against Iowa. He starts off really well. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, hey, maybe we can win the division title if Northwestern loses out. And then we lose by 14. But you put Isaiah in there, and all of a sudden,
2 touchdowns.
Scores 2 touchdowns. One got dropped in the end zone. I mean, he can spark life into an offense. But here's the thing. Bielema has never had a quarterback like Isaiah Williams.
I know.
And I think that scares him. I don't think you could talk about Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's one of the best passing quarterbacks in college football history.
And one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Exactly. So, Bielema is definitely going to go with Peters. There's a reason why the 6-year unproductive quarterback is coming back. I guarantee he was pretty much told, dude, this is your job.
So Peterson, obviously, I'm in all the football Zooms. Peterson praises him all the time. It's going to be Peters. That's my guess. But it is still a competitive battle. Isaiah and Brandon were on media availability today, and they both alluded to it. It's neck and neck. They're getting equal reps in practice for the most part.
But do you honestly see Isaiah ever starting for this program?
Yes.
You don't think they're going to replace him with a new pocket passer once Peters leaves?
I don't. I think that next year, at the minimum, Isaiah's going to be the guy.
Dude, Isaiah's so much better. We know,
he can throw.
And he can die. Dude, he throws darts occasionally.
Dude, in the Rutgers game, he set the quarterback rushing record for Illinois. He threw some big passes on that last drive to get us in the field goal range for James McCourt. He's really good. I'm on Team Isaiah.
If Isaiah, doesn't spark that offense, I think we go 0-9 last year or 0-7, whatever we did.
You don't think? Well, they still probably beat Nebraska.
You think we beat Nebraska?
Has its own problem.
You think an 0-5 Nebraska Illinois team that came off a loss to Rutgers would all of a sudden played well against Nebraska?
They beat him by almost 30, Carson. Or maybe almost 20, I don't know.
Well, also, I hate to say this, Lovey, but you can only win when you get turnovers. We won the turnover battle 5-0.
The Tampa 2 was not the way to go.
It's Peter's just so limited, dude. And he's really good when he uses his legs. I will say that, but he doesn't do that enough. He struggles with completion percentage. And
he does. His career 52-point-something% completion percentage is not anything to boast.
I feel like he's a Debbie Downer. Do you think he's chilling with the guys all the time?
See, he's not a Debbie Downer. He was alluding to it in his media today. The thing that Peterson tries to get out of his most is his leadership. He's trying to be more vocal. He's just, for the first 20, 21 years of his life, he was a quiet guy. His teammates like him. They've said that in media.
What are you gonna say? This guy's a jerk.
You don't mention him. They've gone out of their way to say that they like Brandon. I know they have. I've heard it from multiple guys.
Do you remember interviewing Brandon after Eastern Michigan?
No comment. I'm not going to answer that question.
He was just dude.
That was his third game at Illinois.
I'm looking up his stats right now. Dude, I loved him at Michigan. I remember when he started at Michigan his freshman year. I'm like, wow, Michigan's got a guy.
I'll tell you.
And then he had a terrible Outback Bowl, transfers to Illinois, and it hasn't clicked, dude.
In 2019, Peters threw for 1,184 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and 11 starts with 213 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns.
I know, but look at some of these individual games in 2019. Only 125 yards against Iowa. Purdue
he got hurt against Iowa.
Purdue was a rainstorm.
We didn't need him. They killed him.
Wisconsin, he only threw 9 completions. Thank God Josh Monobebe could catch anything. Nebraska. Do you remember that game?
That was awful.
That game could have been a program defining
my
victory.
Old roommate said it was the season defining game, not program season.
I know we still made a bowl and we got turned around with Wisconsin, but can you imagine if we would have bounced back from Eastern Michigan by beating, at the time, the West Division favorite at home?
Yeah, but then you don't beat Wisconsin.
That's fine, because I honestly think Nebraska is more, beating teams like Nebraska is more sustainable. It's cool, we upset Wisconsin because we punched it out of Jonathan Taylor's hands. But I would trade the Wisconsin win if we beat Eastern Michigan, if we beat Nebraska.
For sure. I remember how disappointed, because you and I went to the J199G McDonald Eastern Michigan game together, and I'm pretty sure we also went to the Nebraska game together.
Yes, we did.
And I was very disappointed.
Do you remember after Corbin's first run, his touchdown?
Yeah.
I've never been more hyped during a game.
And then they went up 14-0, 17-0 actually, and 21-3 or something like that.
It was 21-7, and Illinois is driving down the field, gonna go up by 3 touchdowns, and Peters underthrows Parker, throws an interception. I mean, that game, we got outgained 700-300. We had no business competing in that game, but we were still in the position, and we had one more chance to win with Peters, and went 3 and out.
First down.
Couldn't get a first down.
They went 4 and out, actually, but yeah.
4 and out, my bad.
Because they missed the field goal, remember? They were up 5 or something like that.
They were up 4 and missed the field goal. I'm like, all right, maybe we got a chance. Fun fact, I had broncho pneumonia during that game. Bronchitis and pneumonia combined. So I had 100-degree fever there. I was sick for 2 weeks. Remember, I had to wear a mask in Gene's class.
McDonald's class.
I was ahead of my time with COVID and wearing masks and stuff.
That's right. I remember how weird you looked. I was like, dang.
Everyone's like, oh, look at that idiot. And now it's like you can't go anywhere without a mask.
Yeah, you were before your time. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for that fun fact about you at the game. But no, so just going back to Brandon and Isaiah, Isaiah provides a spark that I think the coaches may not realize yet with this new staff. I'm sure Corey Patterson, has something to say. The guy that recruited him, one retained coach. But Isaiah does something, man. He came in against Iowa, scores 2 touchdowns. Comes in against Northwestern, scores a touchdown. Starts against Penn State.
Oh, my God.
But then he was terrible after those first 3 scores.
That's fine. Everybody was.
But he had a spark at the beginning of the game, and you're beating Penn State 21-14.
Exactly. Oh, look at Brandon's stat line against Northwestern, though, last year. 3 for 14 and 21 yards. What an alpha male. God, how could we let this guy slip away?
He was coming off of COVID. He alluded to that.
Dude, enough. Everybody's coming off COVID. No, I don't like the guy. He needs to go. But Brett Bielema is going to stick with him.
People make the excuse for Yohan Moncada in baseball all the time that he's coming off COVID.
But he actually had, symptoms after. I mean, he actually had a lung condition. I mean, Brandon Peters is kind of like I don't know. If Chase Brown has a 2,000-yard season on the grounds, he gets his inner Monte ball in him, and then Peters, sure, he'll be fine. But, do we really have to rely on getting 250 yards on the ground a day just so Peters can complete a ball? No, and I think Isaiah with a season with Peterson would be better with getting Barker involved, getting other players involved. The thing with Peters, he has tunnel vision. Against Wisconsin, he targeted Josh Montebabe 60% of the time. He picks favorites. I don't think Peters is a good disher.
A matter, baby. Carson.
Josh Montebabe.
Yeah, okay. Yes, no, I agree with you. I think that I'm a little higher on Brandon than most people. But that being said, I do think it is for Isaiah. When Brandon said he was coming back, I wasn't mad, and I was happy to write a quick presser about it. I was a little surprised and kind of like, oh, so Isaiah isn't.
No.
Isaiah, I remember because I was in the press conference with Isaiah, Jake, and Rod after the Penn State loss. And I asked each of them a question. Isaiah said basically, he was like, yeah, I got to work from here to go lead this team next year. He assumed he was going to be the starter. But he's still working hard. He likes Illinois.
Of course he does. And I will say this. Who's, our top wide receivers next year?
Barker. That's it.
No, I know. We got good tight ends, but I think
Brian Hightower's all right.
He's fine. I like Hightower. He actually shows some pretty good potential.
He works really hard.
He has good hands. But that's the thing. That's another thing that goes against Peters is potential. I mean, he doesn't really have great wide receivers. He's got Daniel Barker, I guess, and he's got a decent running game. But I don't know. I love Isaiah in the read option.
See, I guess something that might scare Bielema and Peterson is that, the Rutgers game was basically a triple option game with a few
100%.
passes here and there, and they won. And I remember talking to my father in the middle and after that game, and I mentioned a name to him. What's the Army coach's name?
Monken.
Jeff Monken.
Yep.
He's an Illinois guy, and I said, what if we get him? My dad was like, he runs the triple option, but I researched him, and he was a winner. And there were some guys after Levy got fired that seriously wanted Jeff Monken.
Because, because the triple option is so different. I think you're able to squeeze 6 wins a year. I mean, Georgia Tech, under Johnson, before he retired, they made a bowl game every single year.
Well, and people say, teams have 2 weeks to prepare for this. Then why does Monken win every bowl game he's put in?
Well, that's because Army doesn't play the best bowl teams.
Still.
And no, I agree.
Speaks volume.
I will say this. There is a ceiling with the triple option.
For sure.
Because when you play super athletic teams like in Alabama and Ohio State, they're not getting fooled by a triple option. You can fool Purdue all day, have fun. But there is a ceiling. You're not going to win national championships running the wishbone.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, it's going to be a good battle. I'm really excited for the spring game. Are you going, by the way?
I don't know. I'll probably get tickets somehow.
They're out of tickets.
They're out?
Yeah, they sold out really fast.
Okay. I'm going to have to work some magic. Maybe for Good Morning Illini, I should go.
All right. Well, we'll see that on Monday, April 19th. We're going to wrap up the show here tonight. Brendan and Nathan will be back Wednesday. I'll be back with Gabby on Thursday. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Illini Drive.